Hi friends, I'm Elizabeth of Earl Crochet. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to my YouTube videos all about crochet and my crafty life. You can find me as Earl Crochet, all one word, on Instagram, or Earl Crochet, 3 separate words, on Facebook, or I'm on Ravelry as Hexokinase. On Ravelry I try to keep all my projects that I'm working on up to date with patterns and yarns that I'm using, so you can always head over there if you're after some more details or some pattern or yarn links. Now don't forget that we're getting ready for the Blur Along starting at the end of March. I know it seems like it's a little while away yet, but I wanted to give everyone a chance to either go through your stash and find 5 or 6 colours to make a gradient that you would like to make your Blurre Shawl, or you could order some beautiful hand-dyed yarn online. I myself have ordered my yarn from various local dyers around Australia. I have some yarn from Beck over in Perth, and she goes by Handmade Beck on Instagram, or her website is Saltwater Yarns. I have some from Hannah at Circus Tonic Handmade in Sydney, and some from Mel at Mahogany Turtle, and they're all beautiful yarns. If you want to see more about those, check out my last video about the Blur Along. If you want to get involved in the Blur Along, head over to my Ravelry group, Earl Crochet Community, and I've started a thread for everyone to introduce themselves if they want to, and another one as a chatter thread for the Blur Along where everyone can share the beautiful yarns they'll be working with. I actually have quite a few finished items this time. This morning I had to watch back my last update video to see what I was working on last time and what I'd finished now. And as you can see, first up I have my Riverette top, which I finally finished sewing in all the ends and sewed up. And so I blocked it with the front pieces together and the back pieces together. And then after I blocked it, I sewed the front to the back. So I really like this little design that goes up the middle. It kind of matches the corners that were made in the main sections. Also, last time I showed you, I had started, I'd finished one of my mitts, my knitted mitts, and I hadn't quite been able to start the next one. But since then, I managed to start and finish the other mitt all in one day. Not because I'm a quick knitter, I just literally spent all day knitting. So here we go. They're all blocked and sewn up, and I can tell which one's the first one I made. See if you can guess. I'll tell you in a moment. I'm really happy with them, but I know this one's the first one I made because this section here, my tension's much looser than here or over here. But it's good. I'm getting better at knitting, and I have many more ideas for the future of things I want to make. These are actually really warm, so I'm going to take them off and save them for when the weather gets a bit cooler, and also be able to crochet and keep my hands warm. I also showed you my butterfly garden squares blanket last time, which I'm making for someone else to gift at a baby shower. So here we go. This is a finished item, and so this is inspired by Lindsay, as I mentioned last time, over at the Lottie and Albert podcast, and it's the butterfly garden square. And so the pattern is actually just this part, but then what Lindsay did, and I did the same, is I just kept continuing on with the pattern until, you know, you've got a square pretty much as big as you want, or until you run out of the gradient cake. And Lindsay's actually written up a tutorial now. I haven't had a look at it, but I'm sure it's helpful. So you can head over to her blog, I believe, and see how she continued on with this square to make it bigger. So yeah, if you want to make the whole, this kind of size blanket, I think it's maybe like 1 meter by 1 meter. I don't know, I'm just making that up. Yeah, head over and check out her tutorial. Or yeah, you can go and find the link through my Ravelry projects page to just the small square part. I might put in a link for Lindsay's tutorial as well, because it was pretty much her idea that I used for this blanket, even though I didn't use her exact tutorial because she hadn't written it up yet. I just used the same little pattern that she did. Okay, that's all of my finished items. Well, it seems like a lot to me because last time I didn't have any, and I've been trying to focus on actually getting things done rather than starting heaps and heaps of new projects. I do have a lot of ideas that I want to do but I'm trying to be self-controlled and finish the things I'm actually working on. So as you can see, I've been working on my Woodland Blanket. I think last time I showed you, I'd only done week 1, which was like, you know, maybe about that big. Now I've finished parts 2 and 3 as well. So in Australia, the pattern colour, so in Australia the colour repeat gets released about 7 PM. So in Australia the colour order gets released about 7 PM on a Friday night. In the UK it's about 9 AM. So Lucy will be releasing that tonight as I'm filming. It's Friday the 9th? The 8th. It's Friday the 8th of February. And yeah, so she'll be releasing part 6 tonight, which is the last part, and I've just finished part 3. So I'm a little while behind, but that's alright. I'm not too worried about it. I just need to have it done by probably about April so that I can give it as a gift. I'm actually decided to make it as a gift for my grandma, who's turning 80 in a couple of months. So, you know, if you know her, don't tell her. It's probably meant to be a surprise. So hopefully she'll like that. It was kind of funny. There was one point where I don't even know where it is now. Like, I wouldn't be able to find it. So each trough has 5 trebles with spaces between them. So this is, by the way, this is a pattern by Lucy at Addict 24. It's the Woodland Blanket. But yeah, there was one row where I accidentally did 6 instead of 5, but then on the next valley I did 4 without even realizing, but just so that all the stitches lined up. And I didn't realize until I was on the next stripe. And yeah, it was a bit funny. I think it was on this end. Oh, here it is. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so this one here is a bit wonky. If you look real close, you can't really tell. And then, oh, okay, I did do 5 here. And that's looking a bit funky. And then, just totally by accident, I just did 4 here, and now from this point it's all in line. So, you know, that's a bit different. Yeah, you never tell, except that I just pointed it out, obviously. After my success with my knitting my fingerless mitts, I've decided to do more knitting, but I'm going to keep it to one project at a time, otherwise I'll never get anything done. So, of course the first thing I had to, well, one of the first things I had to knit when I learnt was a Harry Potter scarf. And so I wanted to do a Hufflepuff one, but I'm not that big a fan of the bright yellow and the black. It's a bit too bold, I guess. And so, if you've seen Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them with Newt in it, he, in a couple of the scenes, wears a kind of vintage Hufflepuff scarf, which is grey and mustard, or perhaps grey and gold. So, I've just started knitting this one. It's a bit funky, still working out the best way to change colours. I haven't really mastered that. So the reason I'm doing it on double pointed needles is so that I can have stockinette stitch on both sides and not have to do any purling as well. And I think you could get this look if you did a rib stitch, which I believe is like knit one, purl one all the way across. But I don't think I'd enjoy that as much. So I'm enjoying just going round and round and knitting. Actually, I'm really enjoying how that looks. There's some funky stitches here and there. Like, you know, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm using these bamboo needles because I looked up online about how you avoid the ladders that you get sometimes with DPNs. I actually had them on these socks that I was doing ages ago. Yeah, this gap between the DPNs, really. So that's just kind of ridiculous. Anyway, so I did a bit of research before I started the new project, and one of the suggestions was to use a set of 5, which I've got here, rather than the 4. So obviously there's the 3 plus the extra one. And the only ones that came in a pack of 5 were the bamboo ones. I also like, they actually have the size written on them, which many other knitting needles, no, many other double pointed needles that I've looked at do not have the size written on them. And so you've just kind of got to use a gauge thing or whatever. Also what I'm doing is each time I end up with the empty needle, sorry if you have no idea what I'm talking about, but I kind of will, basically this gap is not always at the same place. The gap between the needles is not always at the same place the stitches. I'll move a couple of stitches across each time I change needles. Hope that makes sense. If you've used DPNs, it might. So if you've never knitted, you might not have a clue what I'm talking about, but you know, there you go. I'm really happy with it because I'm not getting funky ladders in it. I'm going to be able to just, yeah, flatten it. It'll be stockinette stitch on both sides. And yeah, I'll have myself a lovely kind of vintagey newt Hufflepuff scarf. So the yarn is, it's 100% acrylic, and it's Lion Brand yarn Heartland in, this one's Grey Smoky Mountains, and I think this one's called Shenandoah. Once again, to see more details of that, head over to my Ravelry projects page and you can check it out. And even Ravelry is really handy. You can look at other projects that people have made with the same yarn, even in the same colours. So that's really handy. Or you can look at the same projects that people have made with other yarn. I really like the Heartland because it has kind of this mild, I don't know if mild is the right word, but it's not a totally solid colour. It's kind of, yeah, like even the grey, it's kind of got light greys and dark greys in it, and the mustardy gold colour. It's got a few different shades in it. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the colours, and you know, hopefully by the time the next Fantastic Beasts movie comes out, I'll have a nice Hufflepuff scarf, and maybe I'll have one for my husband as well. That's how adventurous I'm feeling right at the moment with my knitting. There's even, yeah, like I said before, I've got plenty more ideas. And most excitedly, on the 1st of February, another crochet along started that I've joined in. I just can't help myself. So if you watched Rosina over at Zines and Roger, you'll know she started her granny cowl on the 1st of February. If you don't watch Rosina over at Zines and Roger, you should. So go check out her YouTube channel because she does lots of great projects. So this is very much inspired by Rosina, this project. She made one of these, a colour block jumper, a few months ago. Actually, she's made a couple. But one of her particular colorways that she used had mustard at the bottom, and I decided I had to do pretty much the same. I've used some slightly different colors, but yeah, this is very much inspired by Rosina. Here's my colors. So this is the ribbing of my color block jumper, and yeah. So when I first did it, I looked at the sizing chart and I was like, it's just based on a bust measurement. And I was like, okay, I fit probably closest to the medium size. However, I was probably slightly on the small side for the medium size. The thing is, it has like a bust measurement of your actual size and then a measurement of what the jumper will be, which is like 10 centimeters bigger. And because I'm that just a bit smaller than the medium size actual bust measurement, it ended up just, this jumper was going to be way too big if I continued in the medium size. I'd gotten probably to about here on my first go until I realized it was like this big, and I'm like, I can't, like, it went around like 3/4 of my body already. Like, obviously I don't want a heaps tight jumper, but that was a bit ridiculous. So this is a small size, and I've started shaping for the armholes a little bit. Like, there's a few rows of shaping there. Then you do a few straight rows. So this is the back, by the way. The front is shaped a little bit differently. Yeah, so this is Peyton's Extra Fine Merino, which is 100% Australian merino yarn. It's available at Spotlight. It's very similar to the yarn recommended by the pattern, which is Cleckheaton's Super Fine Merino, Extra Fine Merino, something like that. But that's not available at Spotlight. You had to order it online, so I couldn't be bothered to do that. And I liked the colour range in the Peyton's. So this is the mustard, and then we have Air Force and grey. I'm really enjoying these colours. I keep, you know, I really like them, and I'm like, oh, it's going to look really unusual. But I think it'll look good. So on Rosanna's one, she's done a couple, but the main one I like, she has some mustard, and then she has a dark grey stripe, and then she has a light pink stripe, which was also very nice. They're both maybe colours, I don't know, I wouldn't normally put together, but I really liked Rosanna's jumper. And I'm really liking this one. I can't wait till it's finished and I can wear it all of the time. Not really, because my full-time job is in a lab, so I can't wear a crochet jumper in a lab, unfortunately. So just weekends, really. I also did go down a couple of hook sizes for this. I think it recommends perhaps a 5.5. No, I think it recommends the 4.5 for the ribbing and the 5 for the main body. Yeah, that's right. But what I did my gauge, and I thought the 4.5 would be good for the main body, but then I wasn't sure and I ended up going down a size, and so I've done a 3.5 for the ribbing part and a 4 for the main body, and it's working out pretty much to gauge, which is good. And I think this size, well, you know, it's kind of like that big, so it's pretty good. And this is the back as well, so you know, keep that in mind. It's always going to look a bit different by the time I get to the front. That's very exciting. I don't normally use a yarn bowl, but I've decided to use this little baking bowl to put my yarn in, just because this is expensive yarn, and it kind of like, it does kind of, you know, if you twist it the wrong way, it kind of splits. So I really don't want it rolling all over the floor. Hence the little baking bowl, which is pretty cute. I suppose just a quick note on stash enhancements. I'm trying to be really good and not buy more yarn at the moment, although Shipji's, it's actually more pronounced like Skippies. I don't know, it's Dutch, I'm really sorry. They've recently released a box where you can get all of the colours of their stone washed and river washed yarn in little 10-gram balls, which sounds a little bit ridiculous, but I kind of really want to order it. I'm trying not to buy more yarn. There's a yarn show or fair coming up in Canberra in May, so I would like to go to that, and you know, to be able to justify buying anything there, I'm going to try not to buy more yarn for a little while. But Matt goes to college up in Sydney, and while he was up there one day, he finished a bit early and he went to a little local yarn shop that's up there, and he got me a little ball of 8-ply cotton. It is a really lovely cotton by Morris & Sons, which is, yeah, some lovely little yarn stores around. It's the same brand of yarn store that I went to when we were in Melbourne. So there's one in Melbourne, one in Katoomba, one in the centre of Sydney, which I haven't been to, and one in Newtown. So yeah, I don't know what I'll do with this. I feel like I need him to go back regularly and buy me like all different colours of the same yarn, and then maybe I'll like make a cotton granny square cardigan or something fun like that of all the yarn that he's bought for me. But yeah, like I was saying like 2 minutes ago, I don't need to be buying more yarn really, because I do have enough, at least for a while. Speaking of my yarn and craft obsession, a few weeks ago at the end of January, I actually went to a local craft group. I found it on Ravelry. I didn't know you could search groups by groups that are local to you. So on Ravelry I was looking at the groups and I found the button where you could click groups that are local, and I found one in my area, and they meet on the last Saturday of each month. And so I messaged a couple of my friends because I was too chicken to go on my own. I needed, you know, someone else to turn up with. So I messaged a couple of friends. I was like, hey, do you guys want to come along to this group? It's actually called a Stitch and Bitch, which is a bit funny. But we went there and it was really lovely. We had a great time. I'll definitely be going back. And I think the other girls are pretty keen as well when they have a time. Yeah, the ladies there were lovely. It was a bit funny. We were all probably very much younger than everyone else, but that's more or less what I expected. But yeah, that was very exciting. So I suppose if you're on Ravelry and you're after a a local group, make sure you check that page where they show your local groups, and you might just find something, because I was very excited to find that. So yeah, don't forget to get involved and prepare for the Blur Along coming up at the end of March, or in the meantime, get involved in Rosina's Granny Cowl. If you'd like to check out some more of my videos, including my Blur Along announcement from January, then click over here to see them. Or if you'd like to be notified the next time I upload a video, click over here to subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like down below or leave a comment.